ثم الصلاة والسلام على خير أنبياء الله وسيد المرسلين حبيب إله العالمين المصطفى الأمين أبي القاسم محمد وعلى أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين الغر الميامين، لا سيما بقية الله في الأراضين وحجته على الخلائق أجمعين، الحجة ابن الحسن المهدي، روحي وأرواح العالمين لتراب مقدمه الفداء. قال الله العظيم في محكم كتابه الكريم: أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم، بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم، فاستقم كما أمرت أنت ومن تاب معك ولا تطغوا إنه بما تعملون بصير. آمنا بالله. صدق الله العلي العظيم. صلوا على محمد وآل I decided from last night to each night to bring some hadith about the benefits of crying for Imam Hussein salawatullahi wa salamuhu alayhi, and why we do cry for Abi Abdullah salawatullahi wa salamuhu alayhi. Imam Hussein says, أنا قتيل العبرة ما يذكرني مؤمن إلا وبكى, that I am killed for the people that cry for me, and no one mentioned my name, and no mu'min mentioned my name, but that he will cry. Sallallahu ala Muhammad wa ala. A hadith from Imam al-Sadiq salawatullahi wa salamuhu alayhi is saying about Quran. I will recite the Arabic version, then we'll translate it inshallah. عن الإمام الصادق عليه السلام أنه قال: القرآن عهد الله إلى خلقه، فقد ينبغي للمرء المسلم أن ينظر في عهده وأن يقرأ منه في كل يوم 50 آية. That Quran is Allah's words to His servants, and every servant needs to read and ponder the Quran to see what Allah tells him. And every mu'min needs to read at least 50 verses of Quran each day. The minimum for reciting Quran each day is 50 times. Among those surah, one in particular, Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam said that this surah in particular made my hair gray. They asked Rasulullah, which surah is that, Ya Rasulullah? He said, Surah Hud. And which verse in particular, and which ayah in particular, and that surah made you grow older than you actually are? And he said, this verse that I read to you at the beginning, فَاسْتَقِمْ كَمَا أُمِرْتَ أَنْتَ وَمَنْ تَابَ مَعَكَ. To stay, in the top is something, but to reach there, rather, it's something, but to stay there, it's totally another thing. To be a Muslim, it's a given for a lot of people. For more than 1 billion people, it's a given that they are born Muslim. But to stay true to their identity, to stay true to being a Muslim, that's a totally different issue. You see people, they plan to conquer a country. They conquer that country and they become victorious. They put a banner behind themselves, mission accomplished. After a while, saying, okay, this entering is something, but staying is totally another thing. Holding your positions is something else. Maybe conquering, yes, of course, going with all your might, but when you on the ground, if you cannot rule them, it's going to be worse for you than the day you conquered them, because you're going to take so much more damage than you ever expected. For another thing, I mentioned war here, maybe it's not appropriate, but I'm going to say it. Marriage also. It's another war for some people. You enter a marriage, but to stay at that marriage, to keep the happiness always at the same level, of course. You know, some people, he's not gonna love his wife like he used to 20 years ago. But some other people will love her even more. He cannot stand even living without her. He cannot be away from her. I remember that once my father-in-law told my wife about that, you know, all this love and letters exchanging with your fiancé, your husband-to-be, you know, all this is kind of goes with the wind. It's not a true love. But what I told her is, you know, you want to see a true love? See how he is with your mother. Still to this day, they joke, they keep the chemistries going, even though they're old, but still. So keeping something is different. You know, you see people, they have a New Year resolution. Okay, what to do? One of them, to go more to the gym. Sign up with a gym, right? Go to the gym, have a few exercise, but after a while, come on, it's too cold to go out. I'm talking about myself. You know, it's raining. Oh, I'm too tired today. That's why you see people, even with muscles, they always need to what? To go to the gym, to stay fit. With even people who memorize Quran is the same thing. Well, the religion is the same thing also. Well, they want to memorize Quran, like some surah that I used to know when I was younger. Now, because I don't recite as much, I tend to forget. So I always need to exercise. That's why they say the people who memorize the whole Quran, they always reciting Quran, like at least one juz a day. You know, for us, one juz a day, we do it just when? During Shahr Ramadan. That's it. During that Shahr, okay, because there's so much reward for reciting even one surah. So what we do is to recite what? More, to get more just for that 30 nights. So keeping ourselves at the same shape is hard. But there is ways to do it. First is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, what He says in the Quran. Every time I go and turn the pages of Quran and read and see the rewards that I get. Sometimes when I still do this, I tell my kids to eat their vegetables, and I can't convince them enough, so I ask, hey Google, I say that what's the health benefit of kumrah? So it will says like this website says the health benefits of kumrah, like 10 health benefit, this and this and that, and it's considered a superfood or whatever. I'm not promoting for kumrah, even though it's very good for you. Anyway, so after a while, they tend to forget. They start complaining again. I need to what? To remind them. Same goes for us, for the mu'min, to remind ourselves. There's 3 kinds of people who do worship, right? The first are like businessmen, trades. What I get in return. How much I get in return. What's the palaces that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will reward me with every time I do this. Okay, and there's a second kind who do things because that they are afraid of hellfire. That when they read the Quran and the hellfire, I say to myself, can I put just one finger into fire for just 1 minute? Just 1 minute. I don't want the eternity. I don't want 1 hour. Even what that magician's name, I forgot, David something, that he goes underwater for 8 minutes and that was his record. Or some people you see, they walk on the fire, right? From one side to other, that's it. But to actually stay there, they say, there's a tradition says that one of the people who is least been tortured in hellfire is what kind of person? That he will have a shoe from fire in his foot. That his brain will boil from it. Okay. And ayadu billah. And he thinks that he's the worst. But he's the least. He got it easy. He went away with it easy. One of my deceased relatives, rahmatullahi alayha, used to say that I don't want to be even afraid of the judgment day. Can you imagine staying in one place for, I don't know, I think one of the torture one person can do to another is put, like, for 24 hours at least, horror movies for him. Can he stand that? I can't. I sure not gonna even sleep at night when I saw The Sixth Sense. Yet alone to what? To see some of the movies are really horrifying that I don't even think about going to it or even watching it. At the judgment day, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will order the hellfire. Heaven is alive, hell is alive too. And will come like a snake. If a snake just now comes, I will surely run from this minbar. Like a snake from fire comes what? Around the mahshar, around the people. So I need to remind myself. And there's a third kind, of course. I know myself that I'm not one of them. Are the people who worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala because Allah is worthy to be worshipped. Sallallahu Muhammad. So if I want something in life, I need to work hard for it, right? Same goes for after. For hereafter, it's the same. I need to at least work for it, right? لا يخدع الله عن جنته. You can't cheat and go to heaven. You cannot do that. There are shortcuts, of course. Majlis of Abi Abdullah al-Husayn salawatullah wa salamu alayhi is a shortcut to heaven. Crying for Abi Abdullah al-Husayn salawatullah wa salamu alayhi is a shortcut to heaven. Ziyarat of Abi Abdullah al-Husayn salawatullah wa salamu alayhi, spending money, spending your time is a shortcut to heaven, inshallah. Yes, we have shortcuts. But there is also a time, a money to be spent. You have to what? To work for it. To work toward greatness. You want to be a doctor here in this life? Yes, you need to study for it. You want to be at the level of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam wa Amirul Mu'mineen salawatullah wa salamu alayhi, and all the Prophet and all the Imam. You need to work for it. Maybe some people will enter heaven, that we have a narration that some people will enter heaven, but what? They're not going to have a house. They're not going to have a home. They always be guests. I don't want that. In this life, I'm working hard to get what? A 2-room apartment. I don't want to spend my eternity being guests in heaven, of course, but it's heaven. You know, being guest in heaven, it's not like being guest in someone's room or someone's house. It's a heaven. It's one of the angels ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to see how far heaven goes. And he asked Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, I don't remember the exact narration, but for a few hundred years strength that to fly. It's an angel flying, right? I think he can go more than 30,000 kilometers per second. So he goes, he get tired, stays in one place, ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala second time, third time. The third time, one of the Hawriya comes out of her a balcony saying that, you know what, you're still in my garden. So I want something like that. So I need to work for it. I need to what? To stand my ground. When I fly, at least from some place to another place, when it's salat time, I go to do my salat, even if it's on the airplane. I'm not gonna care who says what. I heard this from my cousin once, and after a while I saw it even on the news that you know there is apparently the Jewish New Year is nearby. So I don't know what's it called even. It's Hanukkah or something. Anyway, maybe something else. Anyway, so it's they in one website I saw, they said that there is 14 million Jewish around the world, scattered around the world, mostly, of course, in occupied lands, and some in Britain, some in France, and a lot, of course, around 4 million in the States. So I said to myself, like, just 14 million people, and they impose their belief sometimes on the airplanes. That what some of their very religious, let's say, people, they cannot even touch a woman or sit next to a woman. So when the airplane from New York apparently, or the state, was in the state, going to Jerusalem, they found out that their seats are located next to a woman's. They said, well, we're not going to get on the plane. Imagine if it was someone like me or a Muslim. Oh, well, go to a strip search. But for them, no, they waited, they changed their seat that been allocated for them, and the plane took off. And we don't even pray on the airplane. I once went on an airplane, and me and maybe 2-3 other people, and I saw there's Muslim all over the plane. One asked me how to even pray on the plane. He didn't even know. Imagine that. So at least in this life, for this short period of time, imagine Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, if the plane, God forbid, goes down, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala asks you, why didn't you pray your prayers? And you say, oh, I was like ashamed. Are you truly ashamed of your religion? Why do you even call yourself a Muslim? You need to stand your ground. فَاسْتَقِمْ كَمَا أُمِرْتَ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us, when it's salat time, you do salat. You stand firm. Sallallahu ala Muhammad wa ala. But you know, maybe I have some occasions that I can stand firm, like for Ashura, like for Ziyarat Imam Hussein salawatullahi wa salam alayhi. My mind, I think there's something clicks inside of us, something changes. We are different people during Muharram, during Safar. If you don't believe me, see the people that do ziyarah for Abi Abdullah al-Hussein salawatullahi wa salam alayhi during the Arba'in time. They become like angels. They don't fight. They all have one purpose only. They don't care about anything else but to reach the shrine of Abi Abdullah al-Hussein and say, Assalamu alayka ya Abu Abdullah. I remember once I had some business in Baghdad. So I went there with my friends. I don't go there often, unless for a ziyarah. I don't go around Baghdad. I don't have anyone or anything to do there. But that time I had some business to do. And I told my friend that, I thought Baghdad will be much different. He said, what do you mean? I told him, see, I don't hear a lot of songs and music going on. Sometimes even I hear it in Karbala. But how come I don't hear it as much? I thought Baghdad is much worse. He started laughing. He said, Sayyid, you forgot. I said, what? He said, it's before Arba'in. It's during the month of Safar. So people become more religious and people are more ashamed to sin during this month. So these months are encouragements for us. These places are encouragement to us. Gathering around and doing dua is encouragement. The difference between salat jama'ah and salat farada is how much? You reach a level with a salat of jama'ah that angels whose sole business are just to count rewards and thawab cannot count it. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala just can't count it, and He will reward you for it. That's how much is difference between Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Yadullahi ma'al jama'ah. Allah with the people when they gather around. With this majalis, a blessing is not just someone, of course, if he doesn't have any other option but to stay home and listen to Noha or Qur'an or whatever. But if he has an option, he has an obligation to come and participate to strengthen his iman, his belief. That's how you strengthen your iman, your belief, your taqwa. Going to the masajid. There's a riwayah about going to the masajids. To the people of heaven are like stars for the people of earth. They glow. Glow of what? Glow because of the mu'mins. Glow because of the mu'min reciting Quran and doing their daily prayers in the masajid. Sallallahu ala Muhammad. So always I need to remind myself, I need to stand firm, to stand my grounds for this religion. But sometimes, in the Western culture, they renew their vows, right? After like maybe 20 years or so with their wife. We need to renew our vows with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Like what? Saying, Allah, let me remind myself who I'm doing this for. I'm doing it for you, Ya Allah subhanaka ya Rab. I'm doing this for you. If someone is doing his salat, but what? He's doing it for someone to see. Like this guy who did 2 rak'ah of salat, Allahu Akbar, he heard a voice behind him. So he started imagining, daydreaming or salat dreaming. So he started doing that. Maybe I need to register the salat dreaming, because a lot of people dream during their salats, me included. So he started to daydream that maybe there's someone very important behind me sitting. Maybe he's the governor. So if he sees me doing salat like this, performing my salat like this, he will say, oh mashallah, I have one only daughter. I will give him my daughter. Then he will die. I will become the governor. When he finished the salat, he looked back and he saw, Ajallakum Allah, a dog was escaping the cold from outside inside the mosque. He was doing his salat for who? Like some people who were fighting with the army, among the army of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam, sallu alayhi wa alihi. But when they were killed, Rasulullah told about them that he is the martyr of that donkey. Why? Because he just came and saw, oh, I want that donkey. I want that. So he started fighting. He went, but he was killed and he didn't get his donkey. So let him get his rewards from who? That donkey. We want our rewards from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Salati wa nusuki wa mahyaya wa mamati lillahi rabbil alamin. For Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَمَا خَلَقْتُ الْجِنَّ وَالْإِنسَ إِلَّا يَعْبُدُونَ. Remind myself. So that's why I can what? That's how I can stand firm. When a season passes, I see myself, I'm talking about myself here. I see myself, oh, I'm changed now. I'm not like when it was Ramadan, Shahr Ramadan, or Shahr Muharram. I need to take something from that. I need to take something. When you do siyam, you eat before the dawn, right? And wait for what? For breaking your fast. So it's like that when Muharram and Safar finish, I'm waiting. I should take something to hold myself from sinning during this month until the next season. Sallallahu alaihi wasallam. One of the other things that we should do is to enjoy praying. To enjoy praying. I've seen people who really enjoy praying. When they pray, they want to pray, not they has to pray. They are made, like when we were kids, when our parents tell us to pray, when we, especially usually it's when we are teenagers, we think to ourselves, oh, come on, like, when are we going to get over with this? But when the time passes, you see some people. I remember my brother, I hope he doesn't hear this. His English is not that good anyway. So he used to cry when he didn't reach or get to Salat al-Jama'ah. He felt that something was missing from his life now today. I remember once my father was laughing at that day. He said, what? He told us that he woke up for Salat al-Fajr. He was like 5 years old. For Salat al-Fajr. And he sat next to my father crying. My father told him, I'm doing the mustahabbat. Still the nawafil. Still not the Salat al-Fajr. You can still do it. He sat there, still continued crying. He asked him, why don't you come? He said, I want to pray with you, but you take too much time. So that's why even for the Salat of Jama'ah, he said, don't take too much time, don't take your time. Anyway. So, we need to enjoy Salats. We need to enjoy ibadah. We need to enjoy reciting Quran. You know, if you recite Quran, sometimes you see people get so much attached to Quran and their salat. They cannot rest but to do their salat. You see them sleep. During the night, winter nights, that Isa ibn Maryam ala nabina wa alihi wa alayhi afdal as-salatu was-salam asked his mother after his mother passed away, asked her that, do you want to come back to this life? She said, yes. He asked her, what for? And she said that I want to pray in the coldest night of winter and fast in the tallest night and longest days of summer, because of that much reward I saw here. We need to enjoy it. Once in your lifetime, say, okay, today I want to do my salat just to enjoy my salat. The way you want to do it. You want to do it without mustahabbat? Do it without mustahabbat. You want to do it with a lot of mustahabbat, reciting Surah Al-Baqarah? Do it like that. But just once in your lifetime, do salat and recite Quran and fast for the sole reason of enjoying it. And once you had a taste, you cannot go back. You always want your salat to be like that salat. I know some people who had that taste, like for Hajj, as an example. As an example, they go to Hajj, they suffer so much. After they come, they're sick for 3 months. And they will sworn to themselves that that's it, that was the Hajj al-Wajib, Hajjatul Islam, I'm not going back again. But once it's the time around Hajj, you saw him like, okay, I need to get my money. I want to go. I want to taste that, even though it was suffering for him. But the enjoyment of praying to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that's a joy. There's no joy after it. Like Ali ibn Abi Talib, Amir al-Mu'mineen wa Qa'id al-Ghurr al-Muhajjalin, says that me praying and sitting in the mosque is better for me to what? To be in heaven and sitting in heaven. Why? Very strange. Why, Ya Amir al-Mu'mineen? Because sitting in a mosque, there is rida of Allah, exception of Allah. Allah will accept that. Allah wants that. And in staying in a paradise, it's what I want. So I rather do what Allah wants from me to do what I want from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. There is a narration from Amir al-Mu'mineen salawatullahi wa salamuhu alayhi about going to the mosques. Sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Of course, this narration is also narrated from Rasulullah, so probably Amir al-Mu'mineen salawatullahi wa salamuhu alayhi narrated from his brother and his cousin and his Rasul Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. اللهم صل على محمد قال أمير المؤمنين عليه السلام من اختلف إلى المسجد أصاب إحدى الثمان أخا مستفادا في الله أو علما مستطرفا أو آية محكمة أو يسمع كلمة تدله على الهدى أو رحمة منتظرة أو كلمة ترده عن ردى أو يترك ذنبا خشية أو حياء. When someone goes to the masjid, there's 8 benefits that at least he can get one of them, one of those rewards. The first one is to find a brother, to find a friend. What a better friend than a friend that you can meet in mosques and Husayniyas. You know, those friends are a friend that can help you toward Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, toward that path, to keep you straight. You need that friend. You need that brother. أو علما مستطرفا, or you learn something. أو آية محكمة, or you hear ayah, Quran, that you can benefit from. أو يسمع كلمة تدله على الهدى, or he hears something that guides him to the righteous path. أو رحمة منتظرة, or a blessing waiting just for him to come to the masjid, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will give him that blessing. أو كلمة ترده عن ردى, or he learns something that he shouldn't do. أو يترك ذنبا خشية أو حياء. You know, some people, as I mentioned, during the month of Muharram, during the month of Safar, during the month of Ramadan, those holy months, they stop sinning. Why? Because they are ashamed to sin in these months, right? Like you don't see people who sin during his father's funeral. So these people see this month as holy. So again, a place is a holy too. At this place at least, he do not sin. He doesn't sin. So at least he can get one of these 3 benefits from going to the masjid. Sallallahu alaihi Al Abi Talib, the sons of Abu Talib, Radwanullahi ta'ala alayh. I'll tell you here a story to just describe Abu Talib and his sons and daughters. When Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam entered Makkah al-Mukarramah victorious, there were some people that they wanted to kill wherever they are, no matter where they are. They were the very enemies to the core to the Islam. They cannot be repented, so they were said to be killed wherever they could find them. Amir al-Mu'mineen salawatullahi wa salamu alayh went inside the house of his sister who? Hani. So he went inside. There were a few people who thought to themselves, okay, she's the cousin of the Prophet and she's the sister of Amir al-Mu'mineen salawatullahi wa salamuhu alayh. So they sought refuge into that house. He went inside with his helmets on. She said, who are you? Do you not have shame to enter my house? Do you know who I am? And he lifted his helmet, and she again told him that after 8 years you come here to kill the people who seek refuge in my house. So what she did, she grabbed Amir al-Mu'mineen's hands, that the hand was on the grip of that sword that he carries, Dhul Fiqar. She didn't let him go until they left and escaped. Some of them went to Najran and stayed there until the death. So she said, I'm gonna tell Rasulullah what you did. Okay, he's on top of that hill, go. She went there and told Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam. Rasulullah laughed. And Amir al-Mu'mineen said that, Ya Rasulullah, I couldn't move my hands from the strength of her grip. I mean, imagine Amir al-Mu'mineen salawatullahi wa salamu alayh, who plucked open the door of Khaybar, the gate of Khaybar single-handedly, probably with the same hand. He couldn't move his hand. And Rasulullah said, لو ولد أبو طالب العالم لولدهم شجعانا. If Abu Talib would have gave birth to all the humanity, all will be courageous and all will be heroes. So among them was Aqil ibn Abi Talib radwanullahi ta'ala alayh. Of course, Aqil, as Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam told him that I love you for two reasons. One reason, I love you for you. And one reason, I love you for the love of Abu Talib to you, for you. That because your father Abu Talib, I have this much respect to Abu Talib radwanullahi ta'ala alayh, that I love you twice as much just because Abu Talib loved you. So because he was blind, he didn't participate in a lot of wars and a lot of events, but his sons, one of which being Muslim ibn Aqil radwanullahi ta'ala alayh, he wasn't any different from any of Talibiyin. He was a cousin of who? Imam al-Hussein salawatullahi wa salamuhu alayhi. So Imam Hussein sent him as his envoy, as his ambassador to the Kufa. He went there with Qais ibn Musahhar and few others, If you didn't reach, he went there. He asked the people that gave their promise and allegiance to Abi Abdullah al-Hussein to gather around. Some of the narrations say there were 18,000 of them. 18,000. They gathered around him. They pledged their allegiance. Nu'man ibn Bashir, the governor, even, some say he pledged his allegiance, some say no, he was too lenient. So Yazid, under the advisement of Sir John, sent Ubaydullah ibn Ziyad, alayhi la'in Allah. Ubaydullah ibn Ziyad was the son of who? Ziyad ibn Abih, ibn Marjana. So he sent him there. He reached the city of Kufa. He entered the castle of Imara, Qasr al-Imara, and removed Nu'man ibn Bashir and told everyone to stand and guard the gates. And what he started doing is spreading rumors that there's an army coming from the Sham. The army of Yazid is coming, so be aware. They took Hani ibn Urwa radwanullahi ta'ala alayh into custody because they knew that Muslim was in his house. Muslims surrounded the castle and they say, no, Hani is okay. There's nothing wrong with Hani. We're just chatting. And they start telling them and spreading that rumors. People start spreading from around Muslim ibn Aqil. Until was the time for Salat, he went inside the mosque. He started praying the first Salat al-Maghrib. He looked back, saw the mosque was half empty. Half of them left. When he finished his second Salat, he looked back, saw no one. He was a foreigner in the city of Kufa. He starts wandering on the alleys of Kufa and the streets of Kufa, doesn't know even where to go. He stood on one place, and once someone's door, a woman came out, asked him, what do you want? ماذا تريد يا عبد الله? He said, can I have some water, please? She brought him some water, and he was still standing. She asked him, I don't like you standing at my door. Go to your people. Go to your Ahl. And all of a sudden, his eyes were filled with tears. He said, I don't have anyone here. I'm a foreigner here. I don't have anyone in this land, in this city. She told her, are you Muslim ibn Aqil? He said, yes, I am Muslim. Can I come and stay at this night at least into your house? Bil-rahbi was-sa'ah. She said. He came. She allocated a room for him and started going back and forth into that room, bringing him food. He didn't eat. He just stand there and prayed most of the night. Near the dawn, her son Bilal came. He was an eye for Ubaydullah ibn Ziyad. He told her, I seen you going a lot to that room. What's happening there? She told him, I swear to you by Allah's name that do not tell who's in there? He said, who is there? She said, Muslim ibn Aqil, al-Gharib. But he betrayed her and betrayed Muslim, and he went to Qasr Ubaydillah ibn Ziyad and told Muhammad ibn al-Ash'ath alayhi la'anullah. They gathered 300 people and went to capture Muslim. Muslim heard voices coming. He smiled. I saw this in one narration. He smiled and says that I'm now going to my death, to my destiny. Now walini sayfi ya tawa, give me my sword. She gave him his sword. He went outside and started fighting them. They said he was so strong that he could take someone out of his house and throw him on someone's balcony or roof. He started killing them left and right. Muhammad ibn al-Ash'ath, he sent envoy to Ubaydillah telling him, bring me some more people. Said, I send you to just one person. Said, who you think you sent me to? You sent me to one lion. That the narration said when he went outside, he was like an angry lion. So he started saying, أقسمت أن لا أقتل إلا حرا وإن رأيت الموت شيئا نكرا ويجعل البارد سخنا مرا رد شعاع الشمس فاستقر كل امرئ يوما ملاق شرا أخاف أن أكذب أو أغرى. There's two riwayah, one that they dug a trench for him and he was thrown into that. But before that he was hurt by someone's sword on his upper lip. They took him and he started saying, Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. And his eyes filled with tears. Muhammad ibn al-Ash'ath turned his face to him and told him that, why do you, someone like you, what you want, what are you coming for? Do not cry. He said, I'm not crying for myself. I'm crying for Abi Abdullah al-Husayn. I'm crying for my sons and daughters. That's who I'm crying for. He went to Qasr al-Imara. Ubaydillah ibn Ziyad started cursing him. He asked for water. They brought him some water. But he couldn't drink that water and his lips was dripping from blood and that water filled with blood. He asked for the second time. He asked for the third time. It was like he's being like Imam Hussein, being like his cousin. Imam Hussein doesn't drink water when he was martyred, and I will not drink water. They took him up to the castle. Some people were waiting for him, but what they saw is his headless body been thrown from the Qasr al-Imara to the ground. Inna lillah wa inna ilayhi raji'un wa sayalamu alladhina zalamu ala bayti Muhammadin ayya munqalabin yanqalibun wal 'aqibatu lil muttaqin. اللهم إنا نسألك وندعوك باسمك العظيم العز الأجل الأكرم يا الله 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 اللهم عجل في فرج صاحب العصر والزمان اللهم اجعل فرجنا مع فرجه. اللهم انصر الإسلام والمسلمين واخذل الكفار والمنافقين واجعلنا بينهم سالمين آمنين آمين يا رب العالمين. وإلى من رحل من جمعنا هذا وإلى الشهداء خاصة نهدي لهم ثواب سورة الفاتحة مسبوقة بالصلاة على محمد وآل محمد.